Garlands, gift bags, and applause. This plane full of Chinese tourists was greeted in Thailand by cabinet ministers and a crowd of onlookers holding welcoming banners.
Now we can say Thailand freely open for all tourists.
They were the first to visit the country since China reopened its borders after 3 years of heavy restrictions. Before the pandemic, Chinese travellers were the largest source of tourism revenue globally, spending $255 billion around the world. But travel analysts say limited flights, travel restrictions, and lower demand are slowing down the return of these big spending international visitors, at least for now. For nearly 3 years, strict quarantine requirements have kept millions of Chinese tourists from travelling abroad. Travel into and out of mainland China dropped by more than 94% to 8.8 million trips in 2021, from 170 million in 2019. But in January, China's government removed the restrictions that stifled the flow of these travellers, who were particularly important for tourism hotspots in the US, Europe, and Southeast Asia. Take Singapore, for example, where visitors from mainland China made up nearly a fifth of international arrivals in 2019 and spent around $3.1 billion. Businesses in Southeast Asia have lost an estimated 6 million tourism jobs since 2019 and have struggled to find alternative sources of revenue. Now, even as some countries begin welcoming back Chinese tourists, analysts say the regional industry won't recover until 2024, and maybe even longer for the rest of the world. So why will recovery take so long? Firstly, flight capacity is limited. When China closed its borders to international travel in 2020, many airlines rerouted their fleets to serve other destinations. And now, with high fuel and operational costs, many are not rushing to resume pre-pandemic routes to and from China. Days after China reopened its borders, there were only 16 international flights scheduled to depart from Beijing Capital International Airport. And then there's the travel restrictions. Some governments are wary about rising COVID cases coming out of China and have implemented travel rules. In December, Italy, traditionally among the top destinations for Chinese tourists, became the first EU country to introduce COVID testing on arrival for those coming from China. Many other countries have announced similar requirements, prompting China to criticize the measures.
任何预防性的措施都应当基于科学，并确保适度，非歧视。
And lastly, the demand for travelling abroad is still low. Today, flights in and out of Northeast Asia, the region that includes China, are still about 60% below pre-pandemic levels. And the Lunar New Year holidays are expected to see people mostly travel domestically as they reunite with family. That means demand for international flights won't pick up until the second quarter of the year, according to analysts. The ripple effects of this delayed recovery in travel have wide economic implications. Sectors that are connected to tourism, like hospitality and luxury goods, have suffered while Chinese tourists stayed home. Shares of some luxury goods companies, such as LVMH, have rallied since China announced the easing of restrictions. And analysts say it's just one of the industries that have high hopes for when Chinese travellers start spending again.